Good day, I am Lyka S. Loyola, ABE Ed 2A. I will talk about gender fair language. So, what is gender fair language? Gender fair language is a language that avoids bias towards a particular sex or social gender. It minimizes unnecessary concern about gender in your subject matter, allowing both you and your reader to focus on what people do rather than on which sex they are happen to be. So now, what is sexism in language? Sexism in language. It is the use of language which devalues member of one sex, almost invariably women, and this fosters gender inequality. It discriminates against women by rendering them invisible or trivializing them at the same time that it perpetuates notions of male supremacy. Why gender fair language? Gender fair language aims at reducing gender stereotyping and discrimination. Two principal strategies have been employed to make language gender fair and to treat women and men symmetrically. It is neutralization and feminization. Neutralization is achieved replacing male masculine forms with gender unmarked forms, whereas feminization relies on the use of feminine forms to make female reference visible. According to the Civil Service Commission, recognizing that the use of gender-fair language is the first benchmark of gender sensitivity, the Civil Service Commission issued Memorandum Circular Number 12, Series of 2005, which encourages the use of non-sexist language in all official documents, communication, and issuance. Now, there are 5 suggestions. First is eliminate generic use of he, his, or him unless the antecedent is obviously a male, by using plural nouns. Traditionally, the lawyer uses his brief to guide him. Now, the suggestion, the lawyer used their briefs to guide them, so him is replaced by them. Now, next, deleting he, his, and him altogether, rewarding if necessary. Example, the architect uses his blueprint to guide him. The changes, the architect uses a blueprint as a guide. The next suggestion is that substituting articles a, an, and the for his using who instead of he. The writer should know his readers well, which will be changed into the writer should know the readers well. Next, using one, we, or you. As one grows older, he becomes more reflective. As one grows older, one becomes more reflective. He is changed into one, using the passive form. The manager must submit his proposal today. The proposal must be submitted by the manager today. Next suggestion. Eliminate the generic use of man. Instead, use people, person, human, human being, humankind, humanity, and the human race. For example, ordinary. Traditionally, we use ordinary man, mankind, the brotherhood of man. Now we change it into ordinary people, humanity, and the human family. Next suggestion. Eliminate sexism and symbolic representation of gender in words, sentences, and text. By taking the context of the word, analyzing its meaning, and eliminating sexism in the concept. Traditionally, we use feelings of brotherhood, feelings of fraternity, which we use the generic use of men or the masculine. Now, the suggestion is feeling of kinship and solidarity, or the founding fathers. Now we change it to the just founders or the founding leaders. Next one is finding precise words to delineate the thing itself from supposedly sex-linked characteristic. Example: Titanic was a great ship, but she now rests at the bottom of the sea. The suggestion is Titanic was a great ship, but it now rests at the bottom of the sea. Since Titanic is a ship, we should use the pronoun it, because it's not a thing, because it's not a human, I mean. Next example. Don't let Mother Nature rip you. She's out to kill your cars. You finish. Stop her. Suggestion. Don't let nature rip you off. It's out to kill your car's finish. Stop it. Again, we should use the word it, because nature is not a human. The fourth suggestion. Eliminating sexual stereotyping of roles by using the same term for both genders when it comes to profession or employment. Salesman or stewardess. We should say is sales agent or flight attendant. Next, using gender fair terms in lexical terms. Sportsmanship. We change it to the highest ideals of fair play. Next, treating men and women in a parallel manner. Traditionally, we say, I now pronounce you man and wife. The suggestion is, I now pronounce you husband and wife, which is the parallel of wife is husband, not man. Next, avoiding language that reinforces stereotyping images. Example, a man's job. The director's girl Friday. To avoid sexism, we use a big job or the director's assistant. Next, avoiding language that catches attention to the sex role of men and women. Like working mothers, we change it into wage earning mothers. or spinsters or old maids, or change it to unmarried women. The next the next example is that busboys, which should be which should be changed into waiter's assistant, and chauvinist pigs, which we change into male chauvinist. The last one, eliminates sexism when addressing persons formally by using Miss instead of Mrs. Traditionally, we say Mrs. de la Cruz. Now, we should say Miss de la Cruz. Next, using a married woman's first name instead of her husband. Traditionally, and still now, we say Mrs. Juan de la Cruz, which we should by now saying Miss Maria Santos de la Cruz. 1 point. A woman can now hyphen his maiden's name to her husband. Next, using the corresponding titles for females. Traditionally, we say Doctora Concepcion Reyes. We now change it into Doctor Concepcion Reyes. Using the title of the job or group in letters in unknown person. For example, we say Dear Sir. Now, we say Dear Editor, or Dear Credit Manager, or Dear Colleague. Now, the need to use non-gender. Why is there a need to use non-sexist language? Language is an essential tool in communication. It articulates consciousness, which it not only orders our thought, but from infancy we learn to use language to give utterance to our basic needs and feelings. Language also reflects culture. It encodes and transmits cultural meanings and values in our society. Language affects socialization. Children learning a language observe the cultural assumptions and biases underlying language use and see this as an index to their society's value and attitudes. Hence, the need to recognize the importance of transforming language from traditional usage to a more liberating one, that which is gender sensitive. Language shapes thoughts, perception, and attitudes, and thus plays a very crucial role in promoting gender awareness and consciousness. The use of generic masculine terms refers to both sexes in terms of laws renders women invisible and could result in a non-consideration of their needs and concerns in the implementation of such law. That's it. Goodbye.